Hi, this is Danai, and today I'm here with a new video for you. Today I want to talk about the different ways of producing sound on the piano, besides the very obvious way of just pressing the keys like we usually do. For those of you who follow me on Instagram, you might know that I posted a video recently of me playing a piano recital in which I performed Fazil Say's Black Earth. Fazil Say is an amazing pianist and composer from Turkey, and he composed a piece based on a Turkish folk song called Toprak, which stands for Black Earth. And in that, he imitated some typical folklore sounds from his country. And some of you commented under that video and asked me to make a video tutorial on how that sound is created, because I must say that whenever I play it in concert, people from the audience come up to me and ask me, how do you do that? I've never heard that on the piano, and it's true, it's not a very common way of using the piano. So today I want to focus on that and mention a couple of other ways how you can produce a sound on the piano. Especially in more modern music and in new music, composers have started testing all the boundaries of the instrument and have shifted from only using the keys and have really gotten into plucking, into getting into the chords, using all kinds of equipment and all kinds of gadgets that you put into the piano, from crazy things like using this little thing with which you would froth milk and then just going over the chords with that, which is scary to me as a pianist because I feel like cannot be good for the piano. So from things like that to things like, for example, using a piece of paper. I can quickly demonstrate that. I have a piece of paper here, and you can put it underneath the dampers on the chord. So I'm pressing the pedal, and I just inserted that paper, and now when I press normal keys it sounds like this, and then when I have the tip paper it sounds like this. So this percussive sound, very interesting in a way because it sounds like you're literally playing a percussion instrument because the paper is in between the chord and the dampeners. I'm going to quickly show you. It's right here. So now I'm pressing the pedal and I'm just taking it back out. So there are all these things that you can do, but I want to focus today mainly on how to produce a different sound by merely using your hands and your fingers and no extra gadgets. Sometimes there are also coins involved or percussion sticks and all these things. I don't think there's anything that has not been composed already by this point, from hitting the piano, hitting it underneath, creating sound from here, creating sound only by using the pedal, the craziest things. But as I said, this sound that Fazil Say uses in Kara Toprak, I find is very distinctive and also kind of very touching. So I want to focus on that today. A quick summary of how the piano works. I'm sure most of you obviously know this, but of course the sound is not produced by the key, but is produced inside the grand piano. We have the chord, we have a hammer, and when we press the key, the hammer hits the chord and the chord starts vibrating, and these vibrations are what creates the sound. And then there is a damper that comes back once you lift the key. The damper comes back on the chord, and this is why the sound stops once you don't press the key. When you play with a pedal, when you press the pedal, all the dampers go up and stay up, which is why the sound, now I'm pressing the pedal, is still there because the damper is still up. So the chord is vibrating, and when it's going to stop vibrating all by itself, this is when the sound is going to go away as well. So this was a very short explanation of how the piano works, but I think it's important if we're talking about how to produce a sound with our hands in this area, in the chord area. So I'm going to play the beginning of the piece just so that you can get an idea of what I'm even talking about, what that sound sounds like. And so on. So you kind of get an idea of what this sounds like. I find this sound so magical, and it completely transports me into a different culture, into a different country. I think this is why also people ask, oh, why this doesn't sound like a piano at all. So what I'm doing, probably you already saw it, of course, right now, is I'm basically using my fingers and touching the chord that I'm playing. So I'm not just touching all the chords, I'm specifically touching the chord that I'm playing while also pressing the key. So let's go through it step by step. First, I have this chord that's lying underneath everything, and I have the pedal in it. So the pedal is in it the whole time, I'm not lifting the pedal. And then before I press these keys, which is, let's say, the melody, I check in the piano which chords these are. So I'm going to show you. We're talking about these chords right here. These are the chords. You can see with the hammers that are moving. And then I place my fingers on it like this. So as if I was actually playing the piano. And I've played this piece in concert quite a lot. And I've realized that the best way is to really place them like this, not like this, not the whole hand, because this doesn't sound really good, but really every chord by itself. And then holding this, I play it on the keys. Now, right now, you just heard, let's say, a mistake, because I didn't put enough pressure on my second finger, on the D, and it kind of came out like this, which of course is not what you want. So you really need them all to be equal. And you control the dynamics with the left hand, which is very counterintuitive for a pianist, because usually you control the dynamics on the keys with the hand that is playing on the keys. So I really have to understand that it's the pressure of my left hand that controls it. Of course, if I play very loudly on the keys, then it will also get louder, but the main dynamic control happens with the hand that is on the chords. So if I press a lot, it gets more mellow, and if I press only a little bit, it gets very bright, harsh, and almost the normal sound. Now, the lifting your fingers away from the chords also is very important, because if you are not careful, there's going to be a sound. It really is a disturbing sound. It sounds like something went wrong. So basically what I always do is I make sure to lift them very slowly, and I kind of lift every bit that I'm touching the chords with slowly, and then in the end just go upwards. I don't do this sudden movement, so that there is, in the ideal scenario, no sound of me lifting my fingers. Now, another important thing when you're playing this technique is where you touch the chord. You want to touch the chord as close to the keys as possible, because as you know from any string instrument, if you touch the chord in a different location, the note is actually going to change. So for example, here, these are the notes I'm supposed to be playing. If I go further down, the note actually changes. And of course I don't want that. So I'm trying to be in one location as much as possible for all the notes to have a similar overtone palette, and not for one to be up here and the other one to be down here. And now this kind of depends on the build of your piano. So the score asks for this kind of melody. And now this specific connection of notes is one that on my piano is almost impossible. This is a Yamaha C3, and I have the G sharp here. There's this division here. This is just how the piano is built. And I have the G sharp on the left side, as well as the A, and then the B is the first note on this side. So I basically am required to do this here, like this, which of course is very uncomfortable, which in the end, if this is how the piano is built, is what I have to do. If I was playing a concert on a Yamaha C3, I would have to do this. But coming from here, it's quite hard to go seamlessly to this. But I have to say that whenever I've played it in concert, and I've played it on different instruments in concert, either the Steinway D or the Yamaha CFX, or I've even played it on a Fazioli, I've never had this problem. So the normal concert grand is built in a way that this is not going to interfere with it. Then the G sharp, the A and the B are totally next to each other, and you just go a little bit to the left with your left hand and you already have it. So it shouldn't be a problem. Just when I'm practicing it, I always have this problem. Later on in the piece, there is one moment that is also very interesting. It has a similar technique, but it is a little bit different. So I'm going to play it for you right now. Here you can tell that we are in a bit of a higher register, which makes a big difference, I find, because of course the chords of the higher registers are very different from the lower ones. The lower ones have more room to vibrate, and here the sound kind of gets tighter because the chord is tighter in order to make the note higher. So what I do here is I actually place my hand like this, flat on the chord, so it looks like this, while I play these fast notes. And I find that this actually creates the most beautiful, I don't know if beautiful is the right word, but the most fitting sound. So this kind of like very mellow, but also in a way there's some sharpness to the sound. It's not this big vibration of that gives you this feeling of being in a mosque or in a church. This is a bit more disturbing. I also don't use a lot of pedal in that place because I find that it is much more fitting to go in this kind of disturbing direction. Yeah, these are the ways that Fazil Say uses the piano in his piece Black Earth. There's also a big middle section in which he just plays quote unquote normal, kind of a jazzy inspired thing. I love this piece. When I discovered it, I fell in love with it. I think it's an amazing piece and I love playing it in concert. I actually also recorded it on my new album, which is going to come out next year, and I'll definitely let you know when this happens, but this will also be on my new album, so stay tuned for that. And until then, please check out his, there are many videos of him on YouTube playing it as an encore to a concerto, to a recital, so please check this piece out. It's really amazing. Obviously he plays it amazingly, he composed it, he knows exactly what he wants from it. And I hope you found this interesting, how he creates this very special and unique sound from the piano that we are not used to. I mentioned in the beginning of the video that there are many other ways. Obviously you can pluck the string, for example, like this, something like this. There are many things you can do on the piano, but this one until now for me has been kind of the most striking one. It's so simple but has such a big effect and gives you this feeling of being in some kind of holy space. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below. Let me know if you've ever used the piano like this, if you knew this already, and let me know if you knew the piece, and if not, whether you like it, and if it was a discovery the way it was a discovery for me as well. And I'll see you again in the next video. Bye!